it's a great thing to have you guys here, and a very warm welcome from our side to the guests as well as to our enthusiastic participants here who would like to be very active here to understand how it is being here in and around us in Germany. So, with that, having said that, this whole event, as you guys know, is about understanding how it is happening here in Germany and what it means for us as Indians here. So we have a Sanskrit verse called as which says Anobhadraha Kartavo Yantu Vishvataha, which means that let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. Here in the world or in the universe, it is always said that in Vedic culture that you always have to be in the ocean of knowledge, which leads to a situation where you will not have any bad situation. You will always be guided in the right direction through knowledge. Having said that, I would like to welcome once again our four guests here. We have one from FDP, Frau Laura Hahn. Then we have Dr. Schäfer from Grünen. We have Dr. Preisendanz from CDU. And we have Dr. Frau Paraschaki-Schauer coming from Esslingen as from a party SPD. With that, I would like to go through this. And however, before beginning with the event, some information to everybody here. This session will be recorded. Please use the chat box on Zoom so that you can ask your questions. Feel free to react through the reactions that are available. So any interests and appreciations can be reacted through that. Now, before we proceed, let us go through the agenda, what we have today. So what all will be discussed today. So that will be first introduction and welcome to everyone. And this will be followed by background of Indians in Germany. So there will be some facts and figures explained to you by one of our colleagues. After that, we have one section. I would call that whole thing as one section, which is opening remarks, where from every party, the representatives from every party, they will be talking about three questions, in fact. So they will be giving us a background, which is what do they view, how do they see Indians, what is their view, what Indians can do for Germany, and what is it that Germany can do also to Indians, so that the Zusammenhalt can be improved, so that the togetherness can be improved. After that, we will be going through some question and answer parts. So there are three parts. We have divided it deliberately. The question and answer part 1 and 2 are actually the questions that we had received from various enthusiastic participants here. Thank you for that. This message has been floated all over the country, and we have taken a lot of questions here. We have put them together, consolidated them, so that we can ask them here one by one. After that, we'll be also open to questions from audience, and which will be followed by a vote of thanks and ending the event. So what is Samvad Germany? Samvad means, as few of us might be knowing, Samvad is a Sanskrit word which means interaction or any talk that happens between two individuals or two groups. And here we are just a group of volunteers, and we focus on one question: how can we, as a volunteer to bridge the gap between Indian society and German society, we being Indians? But this model cannot be only restricted to Indians. It is applicable to every international person here in the country. And to ensure that these talks are of high quality and everything that is talked here is of the right thing, we extend our invitations to experts and leaders coming from the corresponding fields. So we have conducted various events earlier too, webinars as well as seminars. And few of us, if I name them, will be in education section and also in the work sector, where we can explain. We have tried to explain through such experts what is it in Germany and how can you be benefited through this. Having said that, I would like to proceed and introduce our guest speakers in a little more details. So we have Frau Laura Hahn from FDP. She's born in Schondorf. She works at Stiel as a lawyer, and she's standing as a candidate in Esslingen. Welcome, Frau Hahn.
Thank you.
We have Dr. Preisendanz coming from CDU. He is also a lawyer, but at Bosch. Welcome, Dr. Preisendanz.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you start this meeting quite depressing for me, by using
Thank you.
this photo of myself with a lot more hair than I have today.
Great. Thank you.
But go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. Then we have Dr. Schäfer from Bündnis 90, sorry for my German and English mix up, Bündnis 90 and Grünen or Grünen. He is a member of parliament and economics doctor. Welcome, Dr. Schäfer. He is also standing in Esslingen as a candidate for this elections here. And last but not least, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer. She is a managing director at Landesverband der Migrantenvertretungen in Baden-Württemberg. And she is also standing from Esslingen on behalf of SPD. Welcome, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer.
Thank you very much.
Having said this now, let us proceed with the next section, which will go through some facts and figures about Indian diaspora in Germany. I would like to give the microphone to Shreyas.
Yes, thank you very much, Pawan, for the brief introduction of the guests. And I would like to walk you all through some facts and figures on Indian diaspora in Germany, and also why should Germany as a country focus more on Indians, and how could it be a win-win situation for both the countries. As it is evident from a few graphics here, so the number of Indians coming to Germany is increasing year on year. I should also remind you all that this number was just a mere 48,000 in the year 2010, and we can see how over the past decade it has grown so rapidly, and we are close to 250,000 Indians at the moment in Germany. Also, the number of students coming to Germany is increasing year on year, and it has increased by 20%, more than 15% between years 2002 to 2022 to 2023. So it is also a huge chunk of Indian population here. So the number of students account for up to almost close to 20% of the population of Indians here in Germany. And at the moment, they are the largest group of international students enrolled at German universities. So in March 2021, 57.6% of Indians subject to social insurance contributions in Germany worked in specialist or expert jobs. This means these jobs required advanced vocational training or at least a bachelor's degree to work. So Indians here in Germany are contributing a lot to the economy in Germany, and they're also contributing mostly in the skilled labor sector here in Germany. Also, with Indians who have lived here for a significant amount of time are considering naturalization in Germany, and this is also increasing year on year. In 2023 alone, more than 3,000 Indians with former Indian citizenship became German nationals. So with all this data about Indians in Germany, I would also like to draw your attention to a couple of figures here about Indians in general. And 20% of world's population between the age 15 and 24 are Indians. And the next country that follows is China with about 14%. So the demographic dividend that India offers, Germany can tap this, and this will also be a great value add for the German economy. Also, why is it not risky for India is because there are about 45 million people who are aged between 25 and 34, and they're all highly qualified people. So there is no risk of brain drain also for Indians. Most of them who are qualified can also add significant value to the German economy. So with this context set, it's very important for both countries, for Indians here to understand how political parties look at our diaspora, and also to understand how political parties look at Indians who could add a lot more value to the German economy. With that said, I would like to hand it back to Pawan here, and he will go through the remaining part.
Thank you, Shreyas, for the background. Frau Hahn, mind if I give the microphone to you and for the opening remarks here?
Sure, thank you so much. I would like to use the opening remarks to quickly introduce myself. My name is Laura Hahn. As the colleagues already said, I'm 26 years young and I campaigned for the Free Democratic Party here in Germany in my hometown, Esslingen. Now, I work at Steel in the legal department, so I am a business lawyer and I have the pleasure of working with many Indian colleagues at Steel, for example, in the R&D department, but also in patent research and patent security. So I have quite some experience with Indian colleagues, which I really enjoy. It's a great exchange. The Free Democratic Party for me is the right party because we are the ones advocating for individual rights and a limited government, which I think is also at the forefront and very prosperous for all Indian people in Germany. Low hurdles when it comes to visas, for example, but also the acceptance of documentation, paper, qualification notes, and of course, low taxation so that the most of your income actually lands in your bank account and not with the government. And I'm really happy to be here today, and I am really excited for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Hahn. Mind if I ask you the questions? 3 questions here, which would be, you explain first what is your view about Indians? Thank you so much. And if I may, what is that you think that Indians can do for German society and the other way around as well?
So the first question, excuse me, I have something in my throat. The first question was what I think of the Indian community.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you could pop the questions on the screen if you have them on hand. That would be very helpful.
Okay.
So what I think of the Indian community is that they are very ambitious, driven people. I think it's very admirable that you leave your country to go work in Germany and contribute to our economy. Very admirable in my opinion. Now the slides are gone, just FYI. In my experience,
Yes, I'm looking for the right side for you.
Okay, so again, from my experience working with Indian colleagues, I can only say that it's very inspiring to speak about a very different culture, but yet so much ambition and so much drive to really build a life for themselves and really contribute to a bigger good. Often white-collar jobs, like you already said, extremely educated, extremely driven also in an educational sense. And so I can only think the best of the Indian community, and with the remark that I only had experience in the world field with my colleagues who I really admire. And so therefore, I think you can really contribute to our society in a sense that you can advocate for your own interests, even in the workplace. Now that the German election is coming up, I think it's a good talking point to speak with your colleagues about German politics, the interests that you might have, and also learn what other German people think of politics in Germany, what the issues are, what the pain points are. Yeah, and get in touch, get talking. What was the second question again? I still can't see any slides, sorry.
Yes, I am putting them because we did not prepare for that slide. I am putting that together on a little simple way of doing it, which would be.
I think it was what Indians can contribute.
Yes, exactly. So there are 3 questions as you see on my screen now.
Thank you.
So
Wonderful.
first is, what do you think about Indians? You answered that question. And what's that you think Indians can do for Germany? And the other way around. So you also.
Yeah, sure. So I think it's always best to advocate for everyone's own interests. So the biggest thing that Indians can contribute is to really put at the forefront their ambition, their drive, their very good educations, what they're contributing to the economy, because as I said, that is very admirable. I think advocating for lower bureaucratic hurdles is always a good thing. We really need to cut down bureaucracy. And I think you guys have a lot of experience with long processes, long waiting times. And of course, in all of your different jobs in different departments and different bigger companies you experience, what a big pain it also is for German companies. So really advocating for cutting down on bureaucracy and any interests that you have for yourselves. The Indian community already does so much by showing their drive and their ambition. And what German society can do for Indians is making sure that it is as easy as possible to get to work here and to fulfill their dreams. So yeah, again, I'm repeating myself now.
Thank you, Fran.
Really
Excellent.
for...
That's exactly what
Okay.
we're looking for. That, Dr. Schäfer, shall I ask the same question set for you too?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. By the way, it's the very first time that we as candidates in our district come together. So thanks to the Indian community for making that happen. A good relationship, I think, always goes both ways, and we are living in very difficult and tough times on this planet. So but in the end, we are in this together, and I think there are a lot of strengths on both sides that come together handily. So we are experiencing a very difficult demographic situation, as you are aware of, and but this is we're only starting to feel that. The baby boomers will retire the next years to come, and we will have to replace a lot of them within our companies. And with the very young demographic of India, there's a great chance of bringing dedicated, highly educated people from India to Germany to help us to further develop our economy. On the other hand, I think especially German industry has a lot of things to offer for India. So the people who come from India to Germany can also help develop the Indian market. India is developing rapidly, yet you still have quite a way to go when we look at the GDP per capita. India will make much further way and in a very short time. And I think with our industrial strengths, we can support a lot of these things. We can also work together on difficult issues like security. So far, India was always a bit between the global superpowers. Now it is becoming a global superpower itself. But India used to buy the weaponry almost completely from Russia, but we need India as a partner, as the biggest democracy in the world, as a partner also for Germany and for Europe. So, for instance, with regard to security, cooperation between our countries has now really kickstarted, but it can go a long way. So I think we have traditional cultural ties. I think of the Max Müller houses all around India, and we will also further these ties. Baden-Württemberg, as always, is proceeding, especially developing a strong relationship with the region of Maharashtra. Many German regions should follow that example. And there's a lot to gain between our two countries.
Excellent, Dr. Schäfer. Thank you so much. Dr. Preisendanz, may I ask you the same questions? And what is your one, if you want it?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. David Preisendanz, I'm running for the CDU, the Liberal Conservative Party in Germany. The CDU, for those of you who don't know, we stand for a free market economy with social security, strong rule of law, family values. And since CDU, the name is Christian Democratic Party, we are based
Dr.
on...
President, if I may interrupt for a second, your video
Yeah.
is not visible. Your video is frozen.
My video is frozen.
Yeah, now we can see you again.
Okay, but you did hear me?
Yes, we could hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
Now you can proceed, please.
So
Sorry.
again, the CDU is the Christian Democratic Party, which means that we are based historically on Christian values, but we are not a party for Christians. It is more about values than about religion. Then how I see India or the Indians, well, that is probably very much influenced by my personal life. My wife is actually half Indian. Her father came to Germany, I think, when he was 20 years old. And therefore, my opinion of the Indian society, about the country, is very much influenced by my own travels to India and, of course, my family connections. But apart from that, I also admire India for the economic boom of the recent decades and the strong family values you have in India or in the Indian society, and the democratic structure of the Indian politics. What the Indian community can do can do for Germany, in my opinion, we need more togetherness and community in Germany again. And so I would say that get involved in our society, send your children to sports clubs, music schools, learn German. I know it's a very hard language, but simply be an active part of our society. That would be wonderful. And what Germany can do for the Indian community, that is hard for me to tell, because actually I would ask you what are your expectations from politicians, but I would assume that you will probably all benefit if we end this German economic recession we have right now, because I would assume that you all came to Germany primarily for professional reasons. So I work for Bosch, as said, and if you also work for Bosch or other companies, you do know that maybe in the automotive sector, then you know that we are facing major challenges right now in the economy. And yeah, of course, I believe that the CDU has the right concepts. For example, by ending this over-regulation, you might also experience yourself in Germany, and reducing tax burdens for citizens and companies. Yeah, and yeah, that was actually your 3 questions, right?
Thank you, Dr. President.
The end. Yeah.
Just as a background info, or rather nebendran, your video is still getting a little frozen many times. So we got this response from some people.
Yeah, I don't know. I have actually good connection here. Yeah.
But we could hear you properly, loud and clear.
Okay.
Great.
I was smiling a bit, at the correct time. I was smiling.
Yeah. Paraschaki-Schauer, may I move to you for the same question set, please?
Yes, thank you very much. As you can hear, I'm totally ill this week. I'm running for the SPD. My name is Paraschaki-Schauer. And as you already mentioned, my parents came from Greece to Germany in the 1960s for working. The SPD is the Social Democratic Party of Germany. It's originated in the workers' movement. So for me, it was very clear from the beginning that if I go to politics, I will go for the workers' movement. I, for myself, started working in 1998 in the automobile sector for Daimler Chrysler at that time, now Mercedes-Benz. And I worked until the end of 2019, and then I changed. So I made my the thing I love too, integration and migration as a job now. In the times I make it voluntarily. The SPD is the oldest party. And to your questions now, for me, the diversity of modern society influenced by globalization and demographic change shapes the working at economic world in Germany. And it should be clear that we can only be economic successful if we recognize, promote, and use this diversity to get along. Germany itself is a diverse country of immigration for economic and demographic reasons. We are urgently dependent on immigration. And the Indian migration, just to say that, is a huge success. Maybe I can continue to say the German-Indian migration agreement was concluded nearly 1 year ago. However, immigration from India has been growing rapidly for years. In the meantime, more people come from India to us, to many EU countries, and they help against the dramatic shortage of skilled workers. And the Indo-German migration agreement was, very successfully. I would like to mention that I was in India some years ago. We have friends, they work and live there. They are living in Vadodara, and they're working for Ina Schäffler. And so I had the opportunity to get a little bit India known. We have visited the Taj Mahal and the capital and stuff like that. I was very impressed. So again, without immigration, for me, the shortage of skilled workers would be twice as great, and we need to get along together. What do I think Indians can do for Germany? I think I said we need each other for the future. You can bring in your skills, you can bring in your culture, you can bring in your way of life, so that society can get or become new, get a new German society. And I think Germany can help with the infrastructure. And if Germany stays open-minded, I think we will be very successful on this way of working and living together. Thank
Excellent, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer. Thank you so much for the background. And it is very nice to hear as well that the society is well respected here from each one of you. Thank you. Having said this, you answered actually a lot of questions that many people of us would have already been wondering, how would that be? So now we will proceed to some more question sets now. So this we will, there are some more questions now, and I would like to go through each of you one after other. And given the time restrictions, we don't know whether we will be able to reach all the questions, but it's okay. We will give our best for this. So I would like to request you to be a little crisp for that, and we will see how far we can reach so that we can reach more questions. So that would be the first beginning of this in social challenges as such. As some of you already mentioned about this, yes, we are Indians, and we Indians are facing a lot of problems with generally Ausländerbehörde and overall these kind of things. And to understand how the bureaucracy is and to walk through it is a challenge. This is just as an example. However, so if I go through these step by step now, so let us begin with naturalization and security. So there is one question that a few of us of our friends had asked this question. So how do you plan to balance simplified naturalization and faster access to citizenship when ensuring that individuals with anti-democratic and extremist views are not naturalized? May I ask you this question to Frau Hahn?
I'm sure. I hope I can answer this to your contentness. So I think that the Free Democratic Party made a lot of effort in the last legislation as well, and it is at the core of our party program as well, that we want to welcome as many people who want to work here as possible. So at the very forefront of our efforts is to give access to citizenships to people who have high ambitions and want to contribute to our economy. What the Free Democratic Party wants to do to ensure that we don't naturalize any anti-democratic or extremist views, I think that is one big part of our plan to adapt the Canadian way of doing immigration, which means that we want to have a system where you get, first of all, a background check, and second of all, you are exposed to a system of points where you gain points, for example, for good qualification, education, knowledge of the language, and so on and so forth. But of course, it is also evident if you have any anti-democratic views that these people hopefully get caught early and don't get naturalized and made citizens. You probably know from the news and from the current disputes in the German society that we have an issue here, with illegal migrants, and second of all, with some migrants who do have these anti-democratic and extremist views. And the Free Democratic Party also wants to contribute to be able to solve this problem, but from the democratic parties and not with any extremist parties that are currently, sadly, in the Deutsche Bundestag. I think that's how I would like to answer the question.
Thank you. May I take this question to Dr. Schäfer?
Sure. We actually did in the last legislature completely change our naturalization laws, and it is already a lot easier than it was before, because we think that for people who work hard and who are law abiding, in the end, after 5 years, they should have the chance to become Germans, to have all the rights of a German citizen. Of course, it's 5 years, so it's not overnight. So we see that how people behave when they come to Germany, and this is of course necessary, that they accept our constitution, the way our country is organized. But apart from that, it is very important to develop something like a German dream. Young people gifted people coming from India and making it big here. You're invited to fund new companies. You're invited to raise to the highest rank of our companies, as some people with Indian descent have done in Germany. Anshu Jain, for instance, as the former boss of Deutsche Bank. This is a very important topic also for our economy. There are some parties that want to take this back, this reform. I don't think it would be a good idea, because we also are in a tough global competition, and this is part of this competition as well.
Excellent, Dr. Schäfer. Thank you so much. Dr. Preisendanz, if I may.
Yeah, I mean, you probably know that migration is currently a big topic in this election. And for me, it is important to highlight or to note that only the far right is against migration itself. We all agree that the third largest economy in the world, of course, depends very much on migration and professionals and skilled people who come to our country, and then we build all together on the future of this country. That is the concept. And the CDU is also committed to this kind of migration. The conflict is actually, as Laura just said, the illegal migration, and here, of course, I think also for the ones coming to our country and from other parts of the world, it is important that we solve this topic to have again a better atmosphere in this country. Yeah, to have because I think we all see that this is very much polarizing our society. When it comes to citizenship, I personally don't, for example, don't have a problem with dual citizenships. That is also a topic which is discussed a lot. My party is a bit more reluctant when it comes to dual citizenships. As I understand it, this is not a topic for India because India also does not allow dual citizenships. So I would say when talking about citizenships, it's again about German bureaucracy and just that we get that we show professionals from abroad that we actually want them, and that they don't get the feeling that it all takes long and it's already reluctant, and that is not how we should not be our first impression to the ones coming from other countries.
Thank you, Dr. Preisendanz. Frau Paraschaki-Schauer.
Okay, now I have to start as Dr. Schäfer because we have the Nationality Modernization Act in the last legislation. Dual citizenship now is permitted. This means that since this law, you can come in and have a second citizenship. It is an open secret that my party is very much in favor of easier naturalization, and I personally would like to reduce bureaucracy and simplify the processes, especially in the Ausländerbehörde. This requires the understanding that the Foreigners Registration Office, the Ausländerbehörde, as we say, is a service authority that is there for people, for helping them, not for making them more trouble and problems. I would also like to advocate that we digitize the offices faster and better, and English should also be a language which can be possible in the Ausländerbehörde. I would also like to mention a second thing. A family reunification would have to be, or it has to be facilitated, because working is one thing, but arriving also includes knowing your family and your loved ones nearby, so that integration and arriving is easier when you have your family surrounded. And the last thing is, because you said there's no topic, not even now, but in general, which is emotional or such emotional as migration and integration. And I pledge for more objectivity here. We should look very objective on this topic, because people who want to come to us, they don't see the difference between legal and illegal coming in the country. And I think a lot of politicians even don't know the difference between legal and illegal immigration. So I would say we should calm down and see we have a lot of benefits. Your ethnic, or the people from India, as well the people from Greece and from elsewhere. And I can assure you that I'm working with a lot of people, we call them in Germany mit Migrationshintergrund. And I know a lot of wonderful people who want to work, who want to build up Germany together, who want to arrive here and not to destroy. This is the saying of some very bad guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer. I think here on this, we have almost touched all the questions here. And given that scenario, I would like to proceed because we are running out of time. We have another 16 minutes here. I would like to jump from this to next question. I would like to say, not me, we from Samvad team, we would like to send this question to you and make probably a follow-up session, if it is possible. And otherwise, we will see how it can be done. So let us go into some other burning topics right now. Here, my request would be for everyone, please make it in 2 to 3 sentences, really cramp. And here we'll go through all 4 topics, 1 to 2 sentences maximum, please. And this is for the benefit of the time here. So that would be, first is healthcare access. Let me ask all 4 questions at a time, and I will go one by one to each of you so that we can have crisp answers, and yet the answers will be there. Yeah. So here in healthcare, we have a huge, it is a problem. And we Indians, or other, in fact, it's not only Indians, even the Germans, any person for that matter, they face very long waiting times to see general practitioners and specialists. It is not only to immigrants, in fact. What policies do you think can be introduced to expand these local medical clinics and improve access to the preventive care? What can be done? So this is question number 1. And then question number 2 is rising contributions. So social and health contributions from salaries keep increasing. So as you have this, every one of us is facing it now, 24 to 25, actually the net amount of salary has gone down, in spite of having some of us have surely got some benefit year on year, but still our net income has gone down. What can be done to reduce this burden? Then the third one that comes is school infrastructure. So many schools have a problem here, that there is a poor infrastructure. What can be exactly done in your view, each of you, in 2 sentences? Again, I'm repeating that, to improve that problem and to solve those problems in a pragmatic way. Last but not least, how can it be done that we can have some safe and inclusive education? So in which case, for example, the question is, with rising concerns about racism, drug abuse, and bullying, this is happening to not only Indians, it is happening to every person here. In fact, I have heard from some of my German friends as well. Their kids are also facing this if it is happening. So this is a very generic problem. What can be done there, in your opinion, to improve that inclusivity, safety, and overall development for children? So I would like to go again, Frau Hahn. And I would like to say once again, please, 2 to 3 sentences maximum for each question, please, so that we can contain within the time that we have now.
Sure, but you have to give me some time to reread the questions because that
Sure,
was a lot.
sure.
My apologies.
Yes, sure.
So
No
healthcare
problem.
access is the freedom.
And she has to start now the second time. That's also a bit,
Thanks, David. So healthcare access. So the Free Democratic Party, and by the way, I'm in no means a healthcare expert, so please be easy on me. But the Free Democratic Party's position is that we want to make the way for more doctors, first and foremost, and second of all, to have faster appointments through reduction of bureaucracy, have more medical study places to ensure that we gain more doctors, and we want to digitalize healthcare, also to reduce bureaucracy and drive efficiency. Your second question was rising contributions. Yes, that is also something that bothers me a lot. I don't think that is specific to the Indian community, but I think everybody gasps under the high contributions that we all have to make from our monthly salaries. And the Free Democratic Party is all about reducing costs and making things more efficient by reducing bureaucracy, again, because these are costs that are very effective on our net income. And if we cut down on bureaucracy in the health insurance and also retirement, we can have more income at the end of the day. And also the Free Democratic Party is the one that wants to make way for the stock market to be part of the retirement plans. And we have public retirement plans which do not they are not reliable anymore, at least for my generation, and we want to make sure that with contributing to the stock market, with part of the contributions that everybody has to make, we can make sure that everybody has a retirement at the end of the day and also doesn't have to pay so much every month, because as we all felt in January, we had less income due to higher costs. Safe and inclusion education, let me read. I forgot what the question was. With rising concerns about racism.
So if I summarize it, so the question is about the racism and the drug abuse and bullying that happens in schools. What do you think can be done there from your party side that will improve on this problem?
So I have a very cool colleague in the Free Democratic Party, and her name is Nora Grundmann. I can write her name in the chat later. She's an expert on education. She's the director of a school in the north of Germany, and she specializes and is currently doing her PhD in education in immigration. So her position on that, which I fully support, is that we need to make sure that we have children who come from a background of immigration, that they learn the language, and that children together are way better at helping to include students from other countries and to help them learn the language. I think if we make sure that we have a big eye on integration, that we can erase a lot of the problems that are rising up. Often wrong integration leads to frustration, and that is probably also something that is being pushed through puberty. So if we make sure that we have an eye on integration and really have an eye on the kids that need to learn the language, we can help kids from Germany and also other countries to form good relationships and erase some of the problems. And generally speaking, my party is all about our state and our law, and we think that our laws are strong enough to take care of crimes, and we don't need more control, such as video surveillance and other proposals that were made on drug abuse, crime, and so on. Yeah, I think education, integration, and at the end of the day, our very good civil law.
Thank you, Hahn.
Your next question was school infrastructure. Yeah, that is a big issue here. For a better learning environment, the Free Democratic Party is fighting for years now. But what you need to know is that this is federal law. So since we are a federal republic, the individual states are in charge of education and school infrastructure. We are pushing very hard to really make way for money to solve our poor school buildings and to really push digitalization. What the Free Democratic Party did for that is in the last legislation, and we really want to continue this, is the Startchancenprogramm. We don't want to take the big bucket of money and distribute that all over the schools. We really wanted to see which schools need the most help, often in places in Germany that are really, that have a lot of issues. And that is something that can help. And other than that, we just have to make sure that we find enough
Thank you.
money in the individual federal states.
Excellent. Hahn, given the time, I would like to move on. Dr. Schäfer, the same set of questions, and I would request you as well to make it a little short.
I'll make it short.
Thank you.
All these issues are not only relevant for the Indian community, but for our entire society. We have a huge need to reforms, especially with regard to health and social security. We see that we have the most expensive medical system in Europe, yet the outcome is just average when you look at chronic diseases or at life expectancy. So there's an urgent need to make our system more effective. On the other hand, we're lacking doctors and nurses. So the proverbial Indian doctor could also help us with that. We do need qualified migration into our medical system as well. But reforming healthcare is a very complicated issue, and we will not be able to do it overnight. Yet there's no way around. We really have to do it, and we have to do it in a way that also keeps costs down in order to at least have the contributions from salaries to keep them from increasing even more, because everybody was shocked now in January when they looked at their income statement. This is really urgent, but with an aging society, this is not a small task to do, and it will ask a lot from our people. When life expectancy is rising, people in the end will have to work a bit more than they used to. Infrastructure, or school infrastructure as one example for infrastructure, we need a big push for investment in our country. We have estimates that we're underinvested in a range of about 500 billion euros. That's why my party, we advocate for reform of the debt brake, because we think this is hindering us from making the necessary investments. It's not just about school infrastructure. This is certainly something that is of great importance, but it's infrastructure in general. When you look at the German train system or the German traffic system in its entirety, everybody understands that something needs to happen. Safe and inclusive education. This is not something that politics can has a strong influence on. This is something that where we need our society to function. But it's important that within education we educate our children about the value of every human being, and to keep them from doing bullying, from not being racist. I think this is really a question that needs to be solved within the educational system.
Thank you, Dr. Schäfer. Dr. Preisendanz.
Yeah, very hard job to answer that all very briefly. I will do my best.
I know.
When it comes to healthcare, I would say that when you talk to doctors who have their own practice, they very much also complain about bureaucracy, and at some point they just give up. They can't stand it, and then they just close the door. So I would say, I don't want to repeat again all the time focusing on bureaucracy, but that is actually a topic which is important for a lot of sectors. So our CDU would focus to strengthen our healthcare system, to cut bureaucracies, for example. And some of you might also have relatives in Great Britain. The public way of to build a medical system is also not, at least in Britain, also not that successful. School infrastructure, here I'm a bit struggling always with the fact that the infrastructure of the school is in the competence of the city council. So the city is building or rebuilding the school in your city, and that is something I think we could rethink and or at least give the communities a solid solid financial grounds to invest. And you know, this is also a big topic always, that we say we don't have enough money in Germany to improve our schools and streets, etc. Our opinion would be that's a question of prioritization. Then rising contributions. Yeah, of course, as said, we are now in the second year of recession, and we do see a concrete risk that we have now a third year of recession. So, and if that's the case, if we are a country in recession, you know, everything gets hard. Yeah, you will see it. When it comes to taxes, to social, when it comes to improving our schools, etc. Yeah, so we need to build our way up again, and for me, it's not understandable that the German economy is now on last. Is the growth rate is the worst of all the developing countries right now. I think only Argentina is behind us. I mean, that is not the way it should be. And then safe and inclusive education. That is something I would say that is not a question that the government should answer, but also that is a question to society. Yeah, that we don't have bullying in schools. You can end that by law. That is something. And also racism, yeah, that is something we as a society have to be very clear and just stand together and show those guys who do that, or those persons who do that this is not something which shall not happen in our society, community, school, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Preisendanz. Now that we have actually crossed 6 o'clock, shall I request all 4 of you to stay around for another 10 minutes probably? Would that be okay for each of you?
I'm sorry, I only have 5 minutes because I need to travel to Berlin tonight.
Yes,
Okay.
and maybe I could also say 2 sentences.
Sure.
Yes.
Paraschaki-Schauer, you are, of course, you have to. Yeah.
Yes, okay. So I would just say 2 sentences. Just begin with the last one, safe and inclusive education, because this is the topic I'm working every day with. I think we can do a lot in schools, and in this topic, we need intercultural skills among teachers. We need more teachers with a so-called migrant background, so they know the reality of the family and the society from the children. And we need much more prevention work in this in schools. That's the thing I would like to say to that topic. And to all the others, we need more reforms in all the points you listed in. And I think Sebastian said it's not only depends the Indians in Germany, but the whole society. We need more specialists in the medical field. I would like to introduce health insurance for everyone, one health insurance. This is something I would like to do if I run for the government, so that there are no 2-class medical offers. We need to work on bureaucracy, but I'm pretty sure that those who the reduction of bureaucracy, I don't think those who cause it can change it, because we have a lot of advocates in the parliament, and I think we need to have more simple workers just to show how processes can be solved easily. So, and then less taxes for for our industry, so that we have again more industry in Germany. And I don't think that we have a problem with that we don't have enough money. I think we spend it wrong. So maybe these sentences, because we're running out of time, I also have to go because I have a second panel. Sorry.
Great, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer. Thank you so much. As a closing note, now that we have run out of time, we would like to ask you one question from one of our audience here, a very great question. So it is seen that, I would read it out, it was nice to see that Indians are contributing in such numbers, but what are the measures taken or plan to be taken? This concerns about this specific point here. And as Dr. Schäfer, you said, it is not really the government side that can do that. There is some idea that we have from our side here to put it together to you. It can be taken up by you guys here. Is that, do you plan to educate the migrants in general, or in general everybody in schools, to ensure that such things do not happen? And what are the consequences of this? Can I ask this question one by one? One word answer, or maximum one sentence, please, from Frau Hahn.
Yeah, I will start once again. So my answer would be that first and foremost, we already do educate. Even when I was in school, and that was not so long ago, we had a lot of prevention courses and classes that we took. But as all of my colleagues stated, there's only so much that the government can do. And at the end of the day, it is a question of shared values. Sorry, I was lost for words.
Great. Yeah. That's okay.
It is a question of shared values, and we can only do so much. We need to contribute our efforts to make sure that we all agree on a few values that we all share. We need to make sure that we educate the children on that. And then we need to see if that is something that will help our efforts in integration works. And yeah, in schools,
Thank you, Frau Hahn.
You learn enough about prevention, and the rest is on society.
Yeah. So the question here is, just to make it very clear once again, it is about, I'll read it out the question once again. So what are the measures taken or are planned to educate the citizens about skilled migrants versus others, and the contributions made by skilled migrants to the German society? So the same hate towards illegal migrants is not faced by the skilled migrants. So this is about hatred. And if that can be done by some kind of training, which if it is probably being done, I am unaware of this, but thank you so much for that. Dr. Schäfer.
I don't think we should finger point at any group in society, and
Absolutely.
we should not distinguish between skilled and unskilled people, because
yes.
everybody will have a certain skill. We need to better explain why migration is an urgent need for this country, and we need to better control the different streams and sources of migration.
Yes.
And I think this would be the best way to proceed.
Agreed. Dr. Preisendanz.
Yeah, well, as I fully agree with what Sebastian Schäfer just said, and apart from and additionally, I just can repeat what I said at the beginning. We do have this discussion in our country. That's just a fact. And also, I'm also here doing local politics in the city council, and I know that there are just limits for, let's call it, humanitarian migration. And that is something we have to solve as a country. Germany did a lot in the past, and from the question, I understand that there is a fear that the atmosphere in this country gets worse every day by not solving this topic of uncontrolled migration. Let's put it this way.
This is just a question that has come into the group, and we are just forwarding it. It does not naturally represent anything from Samvad Germany. But thank you so much, Dr. Preisendanz. Last but not least, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer.
I think we should, in politics, but also in the whole society, take a little bit care of what we say and how we say things. This also raises populism and the topic we are talking about. We need more democracy projects and more places where we can come together, all of us. And as I said at the beginning, we have to understand that we are all society, and we can only be economically successful if we recognize, promote, and use this diversity all in one. Thank you.
Thank you, Frau Paraschaki-Schauer. Having said that, then we had to skip this. We would like to give you say a thank you. Mrs. Nagraj, may I request you for a vote of thanks, please?
Thank you, Pawan. Namaste, everyone. Good evening, guten Abend. First of all, a wonderful, first of its kind, that something like this, keeping in Bundestagswahl 2025, we planned something like this from Samvad. So Samvad, as we introduced at the beginning, that we act as a platform to bridge between German and Indian diaspora. And with this Bundestagswahl in the foresight, we thought, how about having major political parties from Germany and have a conversation with the representatives of political party. That was a thought process, because we Indians basically come from the concept Sudaiva Kutumbakam. So where we are a one global, one family globally. So thank you so much for all the 4 speakers of the political parties, Mrs. Hahn, Dr. Schäfer, Dr. Preisendanz, and Mrs. Paraschaki-Schauer. Thank you so much for gracing our event in the middle of all your campaign or the rallies that you are busy with, and for accepting our invite to be here, to address our questions and to understand and to acknowledge the facts and the questions and the concerns raised. All I can say to you is this is just a beginning from Team Samvad in this direction to anchor ourselves in this topic. I should say it's not just restricted to Bundestagswahl 2025, because what we believe is not just the situation for us, the stability is not just in terms of numbers, also the society that we live in. So what matters to us is also very important, not just for us, also for the society and the members that we live in. So the political stability in the society is equally important. Thereby, Samvad play a role in continuing the conversation with you all. And for all the major topics, we were partly, to a large extent, I should shouldn't say partly, we're convinced with your answer. Thanks so much for your answers. But apart from that, I must say, from Q&A and with the link that we offer to our audience, we have had many other concerning questions from the audience. And I would say that after discussing with our organizing team, I don't want to disappoint our audience, that we will sum up these questions. And again, we will approach representatives of your party or to you in particular, and then we get back to our audience. So I thank all the audience members for sparing your precious Sunday evening. I also thank all the speakers once again, and my heartfelt thanks to everyone from the hosting team. And from Samvad, we are not just confined to political stream. Also, we have been conducting discussions related to tax, about the HR issues, and also about education, because education is one such topic, a very powerful tool in the integration topic. I must say, when major part of Indian diaspora is berufstätig migration entity, So in this regard, when the family comes and they come with the children, education is an equally important topic, and that we have been addressing from Team Samvad from the last 2 to 3 years, educating our members about education system in Germany, sometimes in particular about Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg, and we keep to continue to talk about this. So once again, if you would like for the audience, please don't be disheartened, don't be disappointed. We will take up your questions. We have noted down your questions, and we will come back to you with answers. Thank you once again. And if you wish to continue to follow us, please visit our website, samvadgermany.org. And once again, Thank you so much. And we wish all the best for all the political parties, for all the representatives. May the best one wins. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
in
much.
that case, thank you so much. And we end the session here. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Best wishes to everyone.